Cool.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode here at Black Chronicles. Today we've got Ncumisa Sam, who's a business intelligence analyst by profession. She also runs Ntinga Digital Solutions and Mumming in the City. We're excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you. Do you mind giving us background information about you?
So name is Ncumisa Hlapo. So I think really the story starts in my high school. I went to a maths and science and technology high school where we were exposed to basically maths, science and programming in grade 12. That's when basically my love for basically digital and computers and programming started developing. So I went on further to study information technology at CPUT. I majored in business analysis, but I later branched out to business intelligence when I started working. Well, IT is very broad. Like IT is just so broad. I mean, you get communication networks, you get business analysis, you get, SQL developers, which is like your database people. It's very broad. And how it came about for me is that I wasn't even planning on studying IT, okay? I was just out here trying to figure out what am I going to study that is going to secure a future for me to basically get out of the four corners of culture where I grew up, And really, it was like a random conversation sitting down with my sister. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to study, but like I need to go to school next year. Because I took a gap year after matric. So my mom was like, okay, time is up, you need to go study. So I'm like, what am I going to study? I know I don't want to do anything that has to do with math because I've done a lot of math. And I know it's not for me. And I sucked at anything that had to do with accountancy, So I was like, what am I going to study? I wanted to be an actor or fashion designer. But my mom was like, no.
There's no money there. All black parents always tell black children to stay away from creative or artistic.
Yes, and she had a sewing machine. She was like, if you want to learn how to sew, I'll teach you how to sew. But you're going to go get something that's going to get you a job.
Exactly.
Because
a real job. A real one.
Because her concern is you need to put food on the table. You need to make sure that you don't suffer and things like that. As a parent, that was her primary concern. And so my sister's like, you know what, sister, there's a lot of people that are studying IT. She was already in varsity at the time. Like, what is that? And then she started explaining, and then I thought, okay, I was interested because they had introduced us to Java in high school. And we done basically computer studies was one of the subjects that we did. So I knew that, okay, I did enjoy that, but I wasn't clear about the kind of career path that you could go into. So when she said it to me, she organized some of her friends that were studying IT to sort of give me a breakdown of what it is. And they explained it to me, and I was like, that's the one, yes. Got in, did my first year, which was like basically a fusion of everything, because like I said, it's broad. And I went on to do my internship, my in-service training on my third year. That's when I got introduced to business intelligence. So they were like, you know what, we've spoken to you in the interview process and we feel like this will be a fit for you, And that was in 2010. Here I am, business intelligence, what is this? As I grew in my career, I developed a love for user interface design. So basically you design the screens that the normal human being comes and interacts with. Because when they come and work with your program, they don't interact with the program. They interact with the screen. I click on the button, I click submit, and go. I'm in. So I started developing an interest in doing user interface. So I moved to the front end of business intelligence. And I later grew to designing user experience, which goes deeper into the user interface design. Now you don't just design an interface and throw it at Oluchi and be like, okay, there's an interface. You need to put yourself in her mind and think, here I am, I'm Oluchi, I'm in a online store. What's gonna make this experience, a memorable experience? What's gonna make me come back to this website and buy something tomorrow? You need to think from a user perspective. So it's a whole thing. It involves some psychology into it because you need to understand the behavior, the thinking pattern of the human being. So that was interesting. So I fused user experience design, business intelligence, as well as user interface design into one. And that's how Ntinga Digital Design Solutions was born. A fusion of all these three things that I was doing. And also my love for digital and technology. Because I'm a huge advocate of everyone must go digital. Like if you speak to my family, I'm always telling everyone to go digital.
I think everybody should go digital.
Yeah.
Okay, just to go back to what you said about you already after matric, so you decided to take a gap year, and then after taking the gap year, you were not sure what you wanted to do, and then you were not sure what career path, and then you were led into this career path that eventually led you to business intelligence analyst, and then into you then be able to start your own company, which is Ntinga Digital Solutions. And how is that? Because I understand that you are running the business at home and you're also working in corporate full-time. So how is the business doing? Because we understand that it's easier for you to manage the business because it's something that you've already learned from corporate. So that means the business is doing well because you already have that experience. So how is it trying to merge Ntinga Digital with your own work that you're already doing?
Oh yeah, it was a hobby. Like I had been playing around with it actually since 2011. You know, playing with different tools and trying to understand and just doing it as really a passion project. And so it wasn't that difficult to sort of like merge it into my life, but maybe to formalize it now that you're putting yourself out there and you're saying I'm a business. It's a game changer because you're not just doing it for fun. It's not like designing your website to say, okay, my wedding invite is gonna be a website here, I'm just gonna send you a link. You know, you can do whatever, it's your own wedding, it's your own whatever. When you have a specification that comes from a client, a briefing, you know, and factoring all those things in, it becomes a different ballgame because now you have to wear a different hat. You have to have a client in mind. And I don't think it was that difficult since I've had that kind of consulting practice in the kind of work that I do. Because even in business intelligence, you don't just design or give a solution. Whatever business units that you're working with and they want a solution, you need to meet with them and understand what the requirements are. You need to unpack the requirements with them and then formalize them, and then you need to go back and investigate how possible is the solution. Then you need to come back and say, this is what's possible. Yes, I can make your text box dance. You know, I can add a song. Or no, I can't add a song. It's not possible. And then you weigh your options and come to a conclusion. Then you start building.
Okay. And because the business is still at its like infancy, like you said, what are some of the challenges that you face in your business besides people not paying on time?
I think with business, what I've noticed, I mean, not even just with my business, because I have been sort of playing PA for my husband's businesses as well. So I've got some practice there, is that you need to have the heart. Your why for starting the business needs to be very strong. You know, it can't just be
because you're trying to make a quick
you're trying to make a quick buck. You can't. Because with business, you can't expect it to, you know, it's going to boom immediately. There's going to be a trial process. It's going to come. It's part of the process. You need to understand the process when you're going into entrepreneurship. And I'm saying that because you can have all your ducks in a row. I mean, tick each and every box and put some extra boxes in there. But chances are something along the line is not going to go the way that it was supposed to.
That's true.
It can be a supplier, it can be technology, it can be something. There will be anomalies along the way. But when your why is strong, when those things happen, then your dream and your vision don't quickly fall through the cracks. And then especially when you're still doing your corporate gig and it's doing well, it can be very easy to say, you know what, actually I'm not about this business thing. I'll just go back to corporate, you know, to go back into your comfort space, into your comfort zone, you know, and basically drop everything. But when your why is strong, that's when you like wake up and be like, you know what, this is part of the process, I'm going back in.
Well, that's true. I was thinking now with like a couple of stuff that I want to do, obviously, just as like a person where I want to just grow, like in terms of the businesses. Well, the one of the most important things that I heard last year was that there's no such thing as staying in your own lane. You must try as many lanes as possible and see which one
diversify
works well for you. And then the second thing that you need to do when you're in business is that your intention, your why has to be like very strong.
Yeah.
Because those dark days when
Yeah.
there's nothing happening for you, then you need to be able to push through, and that's only going to come from what was your intention from the beginning for starting this business, and why are you doing it.
Yeah.
And another thing that I found out was that consistency.
Yes.
How much is consistency important in terms of running a business? Because people think that they can do it this week and next week they don't do it. Or maybe they'll try and do it this week and then no one buys whatever merch they were doing or uses their service, and then all of a sudden they want to give up.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us about the importance of how important consistency is, and always showing up even if there's no clientele to be showing up to?
Yeah. So, like, I don't think we can stress that enough. You know how they say your talent will bring you to the table or to the room, but your discipline basically will keep you in the room. It's basically the same principle. You know, someone else out there is doing what you're doing, and they may be as less talented than you are at doing it. You know, they may not be a natural at doing whatever, but if they're more disciplined than you, they're gonna basically get you out of business. So you need to always have that in mind, that I have to show up. You know, I'm a mom of 3. You know, our eldest daughter is not staying with us; she's staying with her mom. So I always have the little ones with me all the time. So sometimes I am so drained from my motherly and wifely duties and corporate duties, you know, that I don't feel like doing this thing. And it seems like a nice to have in that moment, because you feel like if I don't show up there, I'm my own boss.
Yeah.
You know, no one's gonna come and tell me whatever. But you have to think about the fact that you can't. You have to still get up, dress up, leave the kids with the nanny, and go. You know, and go show up. You know, I'll even there's a coffee shop next to where we stay. Saturday mornings, I'll tell everyone I'm going to my other job. So see you guys later, because I understand that if I stay at home, it's comfortable. It's going to be easy for me to grab my coffee and start playing with my kids or whatever. But I need to be in a space that's going to force me to sort of like focus on it. And even when there's no clients that you are currently servicing, there's other things in the background, you know. There's groundwork that needs to be done, and you have to do that. You have to find time to do that, and those are the moments to do it.
And those are the nice things to know. No one likes doing the groundwork. No one likes doing the paperwork in business. They just want to provide the service and provide the product, and then just not show up. Okay, you said it. She said she's a mother of 3, you guys. So she's working as a business intelligence analyst. She's got her own web development company that she does. But she's also a mother of 3, and not only is she a mother of 3, she has decided that she's also going to help us cope with being mothers of 3 or 2 or 1 or whatever through her blog that she does, which is Mumming in the City. Well, just tell us about the blog.
The blog, I think that's my most special subject at the moment, like project. So the blog started in 2017 October. You know, initially it was an outlet for me to have the conversations that I was having in my own head and with random moms at pharmacy, at Pick and Pay, at discount pharmacies, you know, looking for Calpol or whatever to bring down the fever. You know, I just found that, okay, I'm a talker, like I can talk for days. So you find that you randomly talk to moms and you have the same struggles, but you can't have these conversations outside of here. And now, most of the time, when you're at home with your family and with the kids, they're happening in your head. And it does something. You need to let it out. You need an outlet. So initially, that's what it was about for me. So it was like several months after I had my youngest son, who is now 2 years old. So it was really, I had 2 under 2. It was hectic. You know, I was faced with the new reality of who I am, and I could not relate to this new Ncumisa. Like, really, I was struggling to accept that this is you, this is your life. You've got two under 2, they both on nappies, they're both demanding physically, Jesus. Emotionally. You know, I was also a newlywed. You know, this marriage that you need to still show up as a wife. And then I've got my job. I need to show up at my job. I'm a friend. I need to show up for friends. So I had to basically put everything into perspective. I had to redefine, I'm this person, I'm a mom, I'm a millennial mom, what does success mean to me? I'm not 20-something-year-old Ncumisa that was basically free to be whoever and whatever that I am. There's suddenly new demands on my mental, emotional, physical capacity. How do I juggle everything? How do I redefine success in this new role? And what are the things that I need to note? But I think it starts with, how do you define success? What is success for you? Is success what you see on Pinterest? All the moms with color-coded clothing, all the nappies packed before the baby's born, and all those things, There's so much that's happening around us. I mean, we're in a digital age. We're in the fourth industrial revolution. So even if you were at home, you're actually amongst people. And there's a lot that's happening. And that can sometimes clash with your reality. And you find yourself in a space where you're like, what the frick is happening? You need to refine yourself. It's like when you're a teenager and you go through all these changes and you're trying to navigate everything. Do you know what I mean? It's a struggle for identity. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to start by putting pen to paper. Okay, fingers to keyboard. Digital age.
Okay, I still got pen to paper.
And start putting it down. It so happened that at the time I was like heavily struggling with postnatal depression. So even that was new. In my mind, I had never suffered depression. I don't suffer depression. What does this mean? Does this mean now? You know how we are as Black people with mental illness.
Yeah.
I could not face the fact that you're going through something. You need to sit down, take a minute. I was like, I need to have this conversation with other moms that are in the same state. We need to talk about these things. Because when you go online and you go everywhere, you see people are happy and everyone seems to have everything together. But how do they do it? But we don't post the poo pictures. We post the cute pictures, And so that's how Momming in the City started. It's really an outlet for moms, a conversation starter for moms to say, let's talk about being a mother in corporate. What are the tools that you need to bring to the table? Also, what are your limits? What are your triggers? And also, what are your sweet spots? What are your strengths and weaknesses as a mother, not as Ncumisa anymore?
Well, that's great because I'm not a mother. I never actually looked at it like that. My question has always been like, oh, if you're a mother, then why can't you be a mother and then do all these other things? Because you always feel like, because as a single person, you always feel like you are able to get it together.
Yes.
And you're never on the other side.
Yes.
And then you see children making noise in the malls, like, oh, there's annoying children and stuff. But you never put yourself into that as a person, you need to stop and just put context into your life. Like, you're now a mother of 2, under 2. That was the lot. So you're like a mother of 2 under 2s. You are working in corporate, striving and trying to create a career for yourself, and you are newlywed, and that whole shebang just had to. Yeah. You had to center your mind, and that was what the blog ultimately helped you.
It helped me basically put everything together and make sense of it. That it's okay to come back home, play with your kids for an hour, and then be like, I need me time. Mommy needs time alone. Husband, entertain yourself. Kids, entertain yourself. And just get a moment, because there's things such as mom guilt. Mom guilt is so bad. A lot of depression in moms nowadays it stems from that feeling guilt and feeling like you're not a good enough mother for wanting space for yourself, for wanting to still thrive in your career, for wanting to still look pretty. A lot of things.
Just combing your hair.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just combing your hair is a big deal. Like you are showing up to life.
You have to show up, because if you don't show up to life, then
life is
you
gonna
feel
show up
bad
to you.
anyway, because you feel like, I never used to be like this. I've given up on myself. Who did I never used to be like this. You feel like you have to justify yourself every time. Like, what happened to you? You meet someone that you haven't met in whatever, and when they give you a look, you feel inside without them saying anything. So my thing was like, I need to be content and happy with the person that I am. But that touches on I'm a working mom. I'm strong in my faith. I need to take time for my prayers and for everything. I need everyone out. I'm a loving mom. I need to be affectionate to my children. All these things, how do they factor in together? I'm starting a business. what is starting a business and being a mom and having all these extramural activities on weekends when you have your free time, you know, what does it mean? Make all of it make sense. And that's really what Momming in the City is about. I'm covering those topics. Let's talk about them. You feel like your all the magazines are putting pressure on you to lose all that baby weight within 6 weeks. Well, it's not happening for you. It's 2 years later, my weight is still there. What do I do about it? Am I justified in feeling happy with myself, or am I lazy? Make sense of such conversations. So that's what I encourage in Momming in the City. It's basically an urban mom that's just
sharing what
this life
she's going
thing.
through with the other people. Okay, cool, that's fine. Well, I just want to like round it all up because it was a lot. It's a lot of stuff that she does. Because when I got back the briefs, because I sent her an email and then I got responses back. It's like there's Momming in the City, there's Ntinga Digital, there's Business Analyst. I'm like already complaining about being too busy, and I don't have 3 children. I'm like, I can't. And it was such a very interesting conversation because people always feel like they don't have the time to do what they want to do. Like, because I think the whole point about life, and it goes back to do nothing without intention, is the fact that people know what makes them feel good inside themselves. And it's just the context around them where you have to show up for your 9 to 5, you have to show up to being a mother, and you can't show up to being like a pole dancer because that's just too much. And that's just doing too much of your own self that you need to like compartmentalize yourself first as a mother, and then there's everything else around yourself, and you're just basically telling people to just be yourself first, and then everything around is just gonna. And one thing I actually do want to ask is, how do you cope with everything that you do?
So I think.
Do you like take drugs or something?
I think for me, like I said, I suffered pain D. It was all a shock. Like I was depressed, I was at the bottom, and then part of that I had to find out, okay, what are my bases? What is my foundation made of? You know, what are the things that hold me together? Obviously showing up, you know, having a happy marriage, having happy children, striving in my career, pursuing my dreams and whatever. Then I had to basically, like you said, compartmentalize everything, plan everything. I know that when I'm at work, it's 9 to 5, nothing else features in the end. We try to keep it like that. So if you come to me with something, if it doesn't fit in there, I'm not doing it. Because you sort of like have to be strict now about your time, because you only have so many hours in a day, and you still have to be so someone to everyone that is in your life. So me, I think planning and being strict about my time and letting go of the guilt when I can't do certain things, learning to say no, learning to say yes, and understanding that you're not going to please everyone at the same time. Even with yourself, learning that there's things that I'll be able to do, there's things that I won't be able to do, you know, and just accepting that these are my bases. And if this thing does not filter into those bases, my marriage, my children, my peace and my sanity, my career, all these departments of my life, if it doesn't factor into that, then maybe we can push it for later. Maybe there's no time for it now. Everything has to sort of like in a waterfall filter into that, because my basis keeps me going. So I think it was learning to be strict, to say no, to say yes at the right time.
Okay, cool, that's fine. Okay, so where can we find you? Where can we find Momming in the City, and where can we find out more information about Ntinga Digital?
So you can find me on Facebook. It's Ncumisa Hlapo, and there is a Momming in the City page on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, one account, Momming in the City. You can also find an account for Ntinga Digital Design, Ntinga_digital_design. Website is still in progress, and I'll update you when it's up and live.
Alright, cool. Well, thank you so much, Ncumisa, for joining us at Black Chronicles 101. Please, if you like the content, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, Boo.